So today we will talk about chapter 2, political economy. Basically, we will kind of briefly discuss the major political systems, economic systems, and then legal systems in the world. And there are just, some differences. Okay. So basically, let me see. I try to, when I share screen, I cannot see who's in here. So let me see. Okay, let me use this. I don't know, can you guys see the screen if I don't use full screen? I think you'll be okay. So basically when we are doing business, because in different countries, they might have different political system, different legal system, or even economic system. So it's hard for us to imagine because in US, we have very, I personally think very good system, okay? So because of those difference, it's difficult to imagine like how, people are doing business in different countries with different system. So that's why, we will just briefly kind of introduce you guys that, okay, this is what the different systems would impact on us, on business, on manager. So basically, political system is the system of government in a country. And from the political system, there is philosophical value that we believe. The philosophical value, of course, doesn't go with the, the borderline of a country, but it's just in general, we think certain countries, certain culture, they believe, they value this philosophical value more than the other one. So basically, if you can see from the slides, the font is a little bit small, but we have collectivism versus individualism, okay? And then another category we look at things are the democratic and totalitarian. So collectivism is, I'm not going to show you this. So collectivism, they focus on the common goods, the collective goals, a group of people, the benefit of a group of people other than individuals, okay? So when we trace it back for this philosophy, we can trace back to Plato, okay? Plato, the Greek philosopher, he believes that we, a country should try to do something that's good for majority of people, okay? And the needs of society as whole, they should be viewed as the goal, and it should be more important than the individual freedom or individual preferences, okay? So the political philosophy derived from this thought are the socialism, okay? Socialism, we can trace back to the modern socialist is Karl Marx, and he believes that a country, a government should own some major production, distribution, or national defense industry. They should manage the companies that benefit society as a whole, okay? So, but they still believe the democratic system, which means that the power should be controlled by a group of people, not just one party. So so a lot of European countries are known as the social democrats. And even I think Canada could also categorize as one. So the characteristic of socialism is, you can see they focus strongly on the social welfare, you know, especially the, how do you call that, the social insurance. Okay, the is it called social insurance? Like national, like the public insurance. So that's basically, you can kind of see the traits of the socialism. And of course, there are extreme socialism. That would be so the democratic socialist countries are, I think the country in blue. I think Canada is counted as one as well. So, the extreme socialism is the communism. Okay, communism believe that the capitalists, the rich people, have all the resources. So the only way, and then we will only elect representative, you know, for rich people because they have more money, they have more power. So the only way we can actually have some kind of policy that benefit majority of the people is through revolution, the violent revolution. Okay, so that's communism. So communism, you know, we know started from Russia, like it was successful in Russia. So in Russia, the labor label, they started a revolution, and then, you know, they were able to control the capitalists. In China, on the other hand, their communism is, they call it the neo-communism, because in China at that time, they were not really industrialized yet. So they don't really have labor, the many labor. Instead, they have a lot of farmers. So they encourage farmers to start the revolution, and then, you know, kick out the rich people. My grandpa, my mom's father, he was from a province that's famous for spicy food, Sichuan. I don't know if you guys heard of it, like kung pao chicken, you know, some of the spicy food, the famous spicy food are from that province. So he was from there, and his family was rich. So when the revolution started, he, you know, the people in his town, you know, tried to take over, that went to his house and then tried to took a lot of stuff from them. So he ran, and he joined the military, belonged to KMT, means later on they flee to Taiwan. So that's how he went to Taiwan. He went to Taiwan in 1949 with my grandma. And yeah, so that's like my mom's side of families are from China. My dad's side is like maybe went to Taiwan 400 years ago. Anyway, so that's the communism. Okay, so to me, sometimes I don't understand, like when I heard arguments on TV here in US, it looks like a lot of people are scared of socialism. Like some of the policy, I personally think it's actually good, but people will say, oh, this is socialism, you know, this is socialist. So what's so bad about socialist? And that's the part I don't understand. But I do know communist is not good, okay, because they believe in the violent revolution. But socialism, a lot of European countries, they believe in socialism. Okay. So that's one political system. And then another one is individualism. So individualism believe that individual, they should have freedom, they should have power to decide whatever, like to make decision to favor themselves. Okay. And they actually trace back to Aristotle. He is Plato's student. Okay. And he believed that individual diversity, private ownership are desirable. That's how we will be motivated. Which is, I believe that, which is true. And so individualism, they focus on individual freedom, self-expression, and they will let people to pursue self-interest. Okay, and they believe if everybody are encouraged to do that, we actually can achieve the best overall good for the society. Okay, and so from individualism, because of that, so it kind of evolved to democratic system and free market. Okay, so like when we talk about mask mandate, okay, in a more individual socialist countries like in Europe, or even like, let's say in Taiwan. Taiwan is a democratic socialist country. So in Taiwan, it's very like people are following news here, and it's very difficult for them to understand why will people choose not to wear a mask. How can people choose not to wear a mask? Okay, as a matter of fact, people don't like, I think I told you guys, people don't like people like Taiwanese going back from US because they believe we have virus. Most of us have virus in us and they don't want it. So so I remember my mom went back last year. Oh, actually 2020. Yeah, she went back 2020. And no, so it's not last year, it's the year before. So she went back in 2020. And nobody, like her own sister, her sister that's very close to her, or even my father, they don't want her to quarantine at the house. They want her quarantine somewhere else. And they were worried she might bring the virus back. So it's okay for them, they believe it's okay to sacrifice her, I don't know, her personal preference so that they can protect the whole neighborhood and stuff like that. So that's what people believe. And so it's just difficult to me. I think I've been here for too long. So it's just difficult for me to imagine that. And even now, like now I got COVID finally, like after 2 years, I got COVID. And I think I told you guys, like in Taiwan, they have like a few days ago, they have 50 cases and now they got it under control. So they have like 10 cases every day, but people still freak out. Like, they said 10 cases. And I was like, in my neighborhood, I think we have maybe more than 50 cases just in my development. So like in my household, just me and my daughter, we have 100%, rate to get COVID. So, but they still want the zero. They don't want any new cases. So in our country, in US, we are, arguing about whether or not to wear masks because, we emphasize strongly in individualism. Okay. we believe we should have choice. Like in Texas, well, it got overruled, but the governor actually, I forgot when, like a few months ago, he announced that no school can force a kid to wear a mask. Okay, so I mean, I respect that. It's based on this individualism, philosophy, value. But there are countries, they actually believe in fighting the virus together for the whole society, like Taiwan, like even in China, even though they started it, but when they shut down the whole province, the whole town, nobody even get out of the street. The street were empty. Only the volunteers, like they have volunteers to deliver groceries, to deliver food to different households. So everybody actually follow the rule. But here, no. And then, well, I should have said that, because we even have argument over what kind of rule to put on, in terms of fighting this. So so that's the difference between individualism and collectivism. Any questions? So that's a political system. And then based on how, like, the concentration level of the power, we have democracy system. Democracy, in theory, is the people can elect representative to represent their voice. So in theory, the power is in us, in the citizens. Okay. Believe it or not, Taiwan and Switzerland, we can vote for our president directly. So it's called a direct democracy. But it's because, it's just Switzerland and Taiwan are small countries. So we only have like 24 million populations. So we can vote for the president directly. But in US, it's different. US is actually different. A lot of countries, they have representative democracy. They elect a representatives, and then they will vote on behalf of the constituents. So that's democracy. Totalitarianism, instead of, general people have the power to decide who can be their representative. The government is controlled by either one person or one political party. They have absolute control over, all type of decisions. So so in their country, they have a very strong political repression and no free, fair elections. The media is censored. I mean, even here, the media is somewhat, censored in some way. But in the totalitarianism country, it's totally different. I'll tell you a joke later on. And the basic civil liberties are denied. Like in China, when they have the virus, when they have the COVID, like when the cases are increasing, like now they don't allow people to go anywhere. So now they stop issuing passport. They stop doing anything. So nobody can get out of the country. Okay, and I don't think they allow foreigners to go in. I'm not sure. I'm not really following the the rules to China. So if there are some criticism, challenges to the political regime, it will be prohibited. One good example is, I don't know if you guys know the Tiananmen Square event. It was long time ago. It was more than 30 years ago. So the reason, it's not the protest that the government is scared of. What tips the government off for that event was the students. They were able to, like, they were able to get more than 1 million students to protest without the government knowing. That's what, you know, get them really nervous, and that's why they send the tanks, they send military, you know, to control that, because it kind of scared them. Same as later on when they have this group, a martial art group. They, you know, they practice like Tai Chi. They exercise every morning. They believe it will help with the health and stuff. But their founder was captured by the government because he had too many followers. So when he was captured, they were able to get people all over the, you know, China to protest. Like they get more than millions of people there in one night. So it kind of, you know, scared the government. So they banned this group. And you can see in when you go to some Chinatown in New York City or anywhere, like even Las Vegas, you see protesters. They will have the sign, but probably in Chinese. I don't know if they have it in English now. So they will have the sign saying that, oh, you know, the China government kill people, you know. Yeah, so that's the sign of the, you know, totalitarianism. And then the media is censored. I want to share this joke. So what is it, Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader, the president, he one time announced in a press conference, he say, oh, great news, our space shuttle was successfully landing on the surface of sun. And then everybody's like, yay, good job. And then one journalist asked him his question, but it's so hot there. How do you guys do it without, you know, how do you do it and then without getting melt? And then he said, oh, we wait till sunset. Okay, so did you get it? So if they are landing, they are going to the sun, how, you know, the sunset doesn't apply there. It's, you know, so anyway, so they were like, oh yeah. So they believe what he said. Okay, and then like we said, the COVID related policy have different impact in the whole world, I believe, based on the political system or based on the philosophical value people believe. So in US, okay, unfortunately, a lot of countries, they, you know, they really want to get the vaccine, but they couldn't afford it, or they are still waiting. Okay, so especially some poor countries, they don't even have, you know, enough vaccine to share. So only 1.9% of people in low-income countries, they receive at least one dose. Okay, 42% of the world receive at least one dose, and 5.72 billion dose has been administered globally. And we have like 6 to 7 billion populations, right? So in theory, it looks like, you know, it's a good rate, but unfortunately only 1.9% of people in low-income country receive one dose. But does that mean that rich country have higher vaccination rate? What do you guys think? Let's see, let's do the chat. So if you think rich country have higher vaccine rate, type 2. If you think no, that's not the case, type 4. Yeah, I know Thomas is listening. Yay. Jamie is listening too. Okay. Natalie, only 3 people are listening. So Brianna is listening too. So 4 people are listening to my podcast now, to my Zoom. Rob, okay. Okay, good. So let's see. Let's look at this. Is it really the case? Now it's a little bit higher, 60.8, 9.8%. Okay. So 9.9 billion doses. Oh, nice. So that's actually good. But let's see. So you see here, this like the top. Can you guys see? I don't know. Maybe I didn't share that. Let me see. Oh, let me see if I can share the screen here. So this is the top of countries that have the highest vaccine rate. The UAE has 99%, almost 99%. Okay. Portugal, 94%. Cuba, 93%. Chile, 91%. Singapore, China, Canada, Italy, Japan, Vietnam. So you see that not necessarily rich country has a higher vaccine rate, right? But we have small sample size. But UAE definitely, it's rich. Portugal, I don't know. I won't say they are rich, but they are not bad. And UK, United States, let's see, our rate is 75%. Okay. Germany is a little bit lower than US. Let me see. Yeah. But Germany, they have almost 73% of people fully vaccinated. Okay. In US, we have like 12%. They are only partially vaccinated. So a little bit, only 63 fully vaccinated. India, even India has a little bit, is also high. Where's Taiwan? How come Taiwan is not here? Or do they? Let me see. Yeah, okay. We take out Taiwan. See, this is what I'm, okay, here. Let me put Taiwan in there. Do I put it in there? What? Okay, where's Taiwan? Oh, Taiwan is here between Vietnam and France, higher than US. Before we, we couldn't get any vaccine. I remember when I got 2 shots, nobody, a lot of our people couldn't, they were fighting, like they tried to get the shot, but they couldn't. And then finally the guy, Foxconn's founder, he somehow he got like, I don't know, 1 million or 2 million doses to San Diego. What are you doing? You have your cat jumping on your keyboard. So so he actually donated to 1 or 2 million doses, and that's when finally the government speed up getting the doses. I think at that time, see, this is sometimes politics will affect. Sometimes, yeah, my cat does that too, and sometimes the politics sometimes affects some of the decisions. So like in Taiwan, actually they will have, like, China want to give us some vaccines and we don't want it. We were like, no, we don't want vaccine from China. And people believe it's not working, So even though now I think China is richer than Taiwan, but we still we still have the perception that, we don't want anything made in China. And yeah, but in a lot of places in China, they are more modernized than Taiwan. but somehow people are still, you know, it's just a political view. And so we refused the vaccine from China, and waiting for Moderna, and finally we were able to get the vaccine from UK, and it's much cheaper. It's like $3 per dose, and the Moderna is like $25-30. So that's why the government didn't want it. But the European vaccine is not as effective as Moderna and the Pfizer one. So yeah, so it just make the process slow. But now everybody get it, and they actually, because the sort of like the social security number. So our government has the system of the social security numbers. So they, under there, is connected with the social insurance. So they have everybody's information. So they would text you like, okay, you can go get vaccine during certain time. So they will categorize people in different, you know, categories. And then when people get the text, they will just go. So only few, like I heard that some of my friends' parents, they don't want to get it because they are older and they are worried about, they've heard of like there are some side effect for, especially for older people, the blood clots or, you know, something like that. So a lot of old people don't want to get it. Also, this is here. Okay, the vaccine rate. And yeah, so Taiwan in the beginning, like I already got, even my daughter got her vaccine in June. So during that time, there aren't many people getting the vaccine yet, but finally we have some vaccine. And after political system, now let's talk about economic system. So in theory, the political system is connected with economic system, but we know that a lot of social democratic countries, they have like close to market economy. Okay, so market economy means that it's like the market in our ideal situation, where market decide everything, the supply and demand decide the price and the, you know, the market. So that's market economy. So market economy, usually you will see the market economy in the countries where the individual goals are given more emphasis over the collective goals. Okay, usually the like the democratic countries. Okay, the state-owned enterprise restricted market are common in the countries where the collective goals are more valued. So the former Soviet Union countries, but now those countries are like they try to a lot of them are already, how do you call that, privatized. So market economy. So in market economies, like in US, we are now 100%, but we're very close. So the product, the physical goods and services the country produces and the quantity, they are determined by supply and demand, like I mentioned. And the supply will not be restricted by monopolies. The government, they actually encourages free, fair competition. And so we have antitrust law. So if you become antitrust, yeah, monopoly, then sometimes you'll be fined by the antitrust regulation. The command economy, on the other hand, is the country actually, the government control a lot of things. Okay, all businesses are state-owned, so people actually have little incentive to be efficient. And so because there's no private ownership, so they have only also little incentive to make to meet the consumers' demand. Okay, and the innovation, the dynamism are absent, are not there because nobody has incentives. So a lot of former communist country, they started to privatize their state-owned enterprise. Okay, so they started to privatize the companies and then try to provide incentives. Even like France, Germany, they used to have a lot of state-owned enterprise as well, but they have lowered the quantity or the control. So Kim Jong-un, he's a leader of North Korea, and there he's inspecting the factories. So have you guys seen a movie about I think it's a Netflix show about North Korea? So, or have you seen any report about North Korea? So when you go to North Korea, if you go to North Korea, you can kind of tell, like, they make it look nice, but you don't really see any prosperity. Okay, it's all like staged. So North Korea is one of the like few countries that still believe in command economy. Even China, they started to open up, maybe 20, 30 years ago. So North Korea and Cuba maybe is like one of the few countries that still believe in command economy. So it'll be interesting to visit North Korea. And then this is a news happened in China. So Chinese government starting a few years ago, they started to target the rich people and then ask them to pay the tax they owe. So this actress, let me show you her photo. She's very famous. She's very pretty. And so this is her, Fan Bingbing. So she become very successful, and she had a lot of shows, and then she makes a lot of money, and then of course she was able to also invest. She's successful in her investment, and see here, but somehow, how good the Chinese government is they were able to use social media to turn the whole country against her. Like when we if we see news like, oh, these rich people try to try to save money, they don't try to not to pay tax. Okay, to me it's understandable, right? Because nobody wants to pay tax. Okay, I rarely hear somebody told me that, okay, tax is our responsibility, we have to pay tax. Well, yes, we have to pay tax, but I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you find some deductible that's legit, or then you wouldn't give them up. You wouldn't say, oh, I'm willing to pay more tax. No. So I believe if we could, we would try not to pay tax. Even me, I'm thinking of, like, if I want to start a company, I would start my company. I would register my company in Delaware because they don't pay state tax. Delaware has no state tax. They don't have sales tax. So if I buy anything, it'll be cheaper there. So that's just so I believe that. But somehow this celebrity, I don't know how she pissed off like the whole population. They call her traitors because she didn't pay tax. Okay, so eventually she was fined $70 million. It's it's a lot, you know, for a celebrity. But and then this is the announcement she made, that she was forced to apologize in public. Okay, so if you see here, that's what, you know, she was forced to say. I don't see anybody in US that got fined by IRS. They will say something like this and people will hate them for not paying tax. Okay, have you guys heard of any example? If yes, type in the celebrity's name on the chat box. I don't think I've heard of anybody that, you know, they will be hated because they didn't pay tax. So that if you can see from the screen, she apologized for not paying tax. So anyway, so that's the one of the thing in the different political system and different economic system. So the economic freedom. Do you believe economic freedom is a must for a country to provide on stage of international business? Which country has the highest economic freedom? Why does economic freedom matter? Okay, so let me see if we can. Oh, we don't have the. I don't have the index here. Let me see. So it is, yeah. So I don't have that, unfortunately. But why do you think why economic freedom matters? Okay, so this goes to this. So like what we believe, okay, once we create a company, like if we do, okay, once we create a company, we want to make sure it's ours, right? And we don't want anybody to take it away. So that's why I believe if we want to do business, it's important, and we need to be very careful when we go to a when we try to invest in a country that where the economic freedom is not guaranteed. Okay, so I will share with you one case. I'm going to post it on D2L, and then you guys can work on, like, it's only like 3 pages. You guys can read it next time, and then we can kind of discuss it. But let me show you the economic freedom world map. So this is 2009. Okay, so real free country here, New Zealand, US, Canada, and then mostly free, green, some European countries, some is moderately free, okay, and then mostly not free, not that free. So this is Japan, and then the green, the yellow one is South Korea, the red one is North Korea. So this is suppressed, and then this is, I think that's Cambodia, and then this is Turkey. Is it Turkey? Is it? No, this is not Turkey. This is about Iran or somewhere in the Middle East. And then this is, oh my goodness. Ukraine, I guess. Yeah, so this is Ethiopia. No, Ethiopia is free, right? So I can tell. Morocco. Okay. So you why do I have to guess what country is there? So you can see that US, Netherlands, Australia is free. 2009. Somehow in 2010, I don't know what happened. US become mostly free. Canada is free, and Netherlands and what is this? New Zealand is free, and then some of the European countries. Okay, and then like at that time, is this Hong Kong? This is Hong Kong. Yeah, and then they changed color. So 2018, New Zealand, Australia, and then I think this Switzerland are free, and then US, Canada become a little bit less free. Okay, so there's the European countries, and then some African, Middle East country doesn't have data, but there's some suppressed nation. Yeah, like North Korea is suppressed, so you can see that. Okay, and then there are some African countries also suppressed, and then this is, I think this is it Colombia? Colombia also changed. And then this is 2021. Okay. So the Mongolia is actually somewhat free, same level as US. And then this, I think this is Colombia. And then what is this one? This I have to look it up. Oh, Cuba, sorry. This is Cuba. And then China become suppressed as well, because they did something. We would maybe talk about it next time. So, so if you are listening now, okay, go to Google, type www.google.cn and see what you guys see there. Okay, so if you see here, it says google.cn, but then it says, well, it's in mine is in Chinese. I don't know what's yours. So they say, please go to Google.Hong Kong. Yes. Okay. Thomas, you are the only one that's really listening. Okay. So, did I record this? Yes, I did. So yeah, so Google actually exit China, I think in 2009, because at that time Chinese government tried to catch some democratic protesters, and they asked Google to hand over the information, some user information. Google refused, but of course there are some other reason. That's the official reason. Okay, the other reason is Google couldn't get some of the stuff done, and then they in China they block a lot of websites. So if you want to do business there, you have to work with them. Okay, so that's why eventually Google exit China, and they I think they were hoping by doing that, because at the time Google is like the biggest company. It's like they were much bigger than Apple at that time. Okay, they were like the biggest. So I think they were hoping by doing that they would get some other high-tech company going with them, like to leave China with them. Unfortunately, nobody followed Google. So unfortunately, so that's why I think, I don't know if, but at the time I was also hoping a lot of big companies would leave China, but they didn't. But now to look at it, that's why WeChat, the Alibaba became really popular, famous ever since Google left. And then China developed their own search engine, become very powerful. So that's kind of sad that I think if Google stay, maybe they were able to do something there as well, maybe. But now, they are not there. And now they are in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is also kind of controlled by China. So it's hard to say. Like sometimes when we make decision, we need to be careful. I appreciate Google's courage to leave, but now if I think about it, like if they stay there, they probably could maybe change people's thought or opinion more there, because they value freedom, so they maybe can promote some of the ideas, but unfortunately they are not there anymore. So Google in China 2010 and Google exit. So this is the whole story. And I'm not going to let you guys discuss whether or not it's a good decision. Okay. So let's look at what is it? So let me share with you one news. Censorship. Okay. So so the general manager of Houston Rocket, he wrote a tweet and then deleted it. But he wrote, I think he wrote, what did he write? Here. Through decades of painstaking deal making, the NBA created the radar opportunity in China. Now a single swift deleted tweet has put all the time money in jeopardy. So he said, I forgot, he said something. I think it's during the Hong Kong protest. I don't remember, but I think he said something like supporting Hong Kong protest, and then China boycott the NBA opening game. They don't have any like I think they try to boycott it in social media. But actually something you guys didn't know was, even though a lot of people, they also they were like supporting what the government did on WeChat or on their social media, but the opening game, it was packed. Okay, so even that's the case, the opening game was packed, but it just says that they wouldn't mind doing things like that. They wouldn't mind like people call them, oh, you control the media, stuff like that. They don't mind at all. They just don't allow you to do this kind of stuff. Okay, so Google Map, they are not the same. Okay, so Google Map, actually the political situation, they will actually affect the way business operate. Okay. So let's see. Why is it different? So in some countries, they don't allow Google Maps showing the satellite image. Okay. So in some country, you you don't really, they don't, and then also like in some case like India, Pakistan, or India, China, they've been fighting for the borderline, where the borderline is. So if you use Google Map from India, then the Kashmir is part of India, which is somewhere here. Okay, Kashmir. But if you go to I don't know if we can see Google Map in Pakistan, the Kashmir is here. So in both countries, they include Kashmir in the Google Map. Yeah. And then in South Korea, let me see if so in South Korea, they don't want, the mapping data being shown, because they don't want North Korea to get, some part of the image. They were worried that North Korea might invade South Korea. So in South Korea, we have to do different, do different ways to get a map, get Google Map. And so that's, sometimes companies has to deal with the political issues they have. So when you do business in different countries, that's something that we have to pay attention to. And legal system. So legal systems are also in different countries. They have different legal systems. But something that's related to business, the major difference is the common law and the civil law system. Okay. In US, what kind of system do we have? In US, we have common law. Okay. So the common law system, they base the tradition, the precedent, and the custom. Okay. So like when you study law, I think you guys study business law, right? So when you study business law, you read a lot of precedents, the previous precedents, and then you will see that when they try to argue, they need to quote, the previous president, and then what's the new custom, so you have to kind of explain that. So it's very common in the UK's former colonies, including United States, okay? And Australia, New Zealand, I think they are all common law. Civil law, instead of, you have to going back to the presidents and the new custom, they have detailed set of laws in different codes. Okay, so a majority of the countries actually are adopting that system, like in Germany, France, Japan, or Russia. Taiwan also has civil law. And for that, everything is already written in the law. So like the big, like the very common difference is, when you sign lease in US, our lease is like huge, like everything is in detail, what color of the paint, we have to keep, or what happened if you paint the house differently, they are all there. But like in Taiwan, when we sign a lease, it's just the duration, how long you're going to stay, how much, that's it. Or like sometimes utilities, is utility cover, or what, yeah. So just something like that. Whatever details, we have this like lease and rental law, So you just follow that. Okay. The same as in Germany, in Japan. So when you sign contract with companies there, then you have to, make sure you understand what's the law they have. And then we might need 2 sets of contract. Okay, for US, we will have to detail everything. But for those civil law countries, you have to follow the country's law. So, and then we have the theocratic law. They are based in religious teachings, and like the Islamic law, most widely practiced in Eastern countries, and the Holy See in Vatican City, also a theocratic government. So they have about 1,000 citizens, and it's governed by the Catholic Church, okay, and presented by Pope and the bishops. So all the government position offices are filled by clergy. So that's the Vatican City. I've been to Vatican City, and yeah, very small. So I can walk around it like in maybe 30 minutes. So so differences in contract law, like we already kind of talk about it. So common law, civil law system, they have different ways. Or even for divorce, like in US, divorce, it depends on 2 parties, if negotiation or whether or not they have prenup, stuff like that. But in Taiwan, they have a divorce law. So if there's no prenup or the pre-marriage contract, then the law would say, like, they would tell you how to split the property and stuff. So that's that. Oh, so let's see. Civil law country. A lot of South America countries.
Playing the music you requested.
See,
For
I
90
didn't.
million songs on demand.
I didn't.
Try Amazon Music Unlimited.
Stop.
Here's a
Alexa.
station you might like. Country.
Alexa is stupid. Yeah. So, oops, I think she heard me. Yeah. So the common law, so North America, Australia, and then Muslim laws, some Middle East countries, and then civil law, a lot of Asia. Okay. And South America and Europe, civil law. So that's that. So legal system affect, something related to business is property rights and corruptions. Okay, so property rights, want to make sure it's protected. Okay, and then the private action of to harm the property rights are like could be theft, piracy, blackmail, okay, by private groups or individuals. But the public, by government, it's possible. It might not be. It might seem awkward to us in US because normally our government wouldn't do that, but in some country, their government would purposely charge excessive tax so that eventually you have to give up some of your property rights. Okay, so they require expensive license or permit from the property holders, and they will take assets into state ownership without compensating the owner or without getting approved by the original owners. Okay, so that's something that we need to be careful when we go to different countries as well. Yeah. So the corruption ranking, Somalia is number 1. Let's see, New Zealand, very incorrupt. And where's US? US is not as good as I thought. US is corruption index is like 75 points out of 100. Okay. South Korea is here. China is like 40 points. Italy 50. Okay. So we do have a lot of corrupting countries, corrupting government. I don't know where Taiwan is. Taiwan, I believe we are better than China. So we're probably somewhere here. Maybe a little bit better than South Korea. I'm not sure. Yeah. So that's the corruption index. So that's something also you can, we will be talking about it in chapter 4 ethics. But when you go to different countries, you need to understand that to see, like in some countries, you probably need to do something. Okay. So bribe is not allowed for US citizen. Okay. Even though it's not done in US, it's still not allowed. Let me play this video. So what can we do to avoid that? Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Did you know that it's illegal for Americans to bribe public officials to gain business in a foreign country, even if bribery is commonplace in that nation? The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act bars U.S. companies from bribing foreign officials to gain business. While this is logical and ethical, it's worth noting that in some countries, public officials are so poorly paid and corruption is so widespread that bribery is viewed as normal compensation for work that would otherwise not be performed in a timely manner, such as issuing a license for a firm to establish a business. Indeed, some economists have argued that a little bribery might be a good thing if it greases the wheels of commerce and enables entrepreneurs to establish businesses and jumpstart economic growth.
So we talk about, what did I do? I didn't talk about it here in this class, but so if you want to start a business in a country that's taking bribes as like, it's very normal, what are you going to do? Okay, think about it. We will come back next time, and then I'll post the case on D2L. It's only 3 pages. Just please read through that, and then, hopefully next Tuesday. Do I want to? Okay, so you read the case for next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is Chinese New Year. So I'm going to cancel a class. I'm going to enjoy my Chinese New Year. Okay. And I post it on D2L as well. So I won't be seeing you guys next Tuesday, but I probably will go to school on Thursday. Let me check if I have anything on Thursday. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would go to, I would do the face-to-face class on Thursday, and then maybe bring you some Chinese snacks. Okay, so see you guys next Thursday, and I hope you would read the case, and then we can discuss the case next Thursday with some snacks. Okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Is there any way I could go back to the online version?
Yeah,
of
you
this
can.
class?
You can always go back to online.
Okay.
So just email me when you eventually decide to go back to online.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would have to use the course number, right? Like, what's the course for the class?
No, it's too late to register. So you just email me. You want to do it online.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to come to class.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And then I have one more question too, because I'm
Yeah.
in your organizational strategy class too. Is that on Zoom too?
Yes, today, yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, but that one you can also choose to do online as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye, have a good one.
I need to exit. Bye.